Hey guys, um, someone pointed out, Peter pointed out that you don't always get the beginning, so I'm sort of going to look into getting like an intro screen or something so that no one misses any because of the ads. Not sure how that works, but anyway, hey guys, who's here? Adam, Peter, David Ian Sykes, Mike from Cornwall, Wazza, Bill Baggins, Adam Carmichael. We've already said his name twice, Adam Carmichael. Stuart Hingston, Mark Osborne, Russ Knox, g'day. Paul Pippertone, g'day. James P, hello. Tea and Biscuits, hello. Yeah, mixed lot. Congrats on a new job, Ad. That's awesome. Hope it goes all right. I don't know if I've done much this week. That's where we're at. Morning, Darren. Did a bit of messing around with these and sort of got these half started. I had to find some brass sheet. This is probably a bit good for its 3mm engraving brass. It's pretty nice actually. But we're getting there. There's this roughed out sort of, they need a lot of finishing work. And they need silver soldering together, and then the middle needs machining out of this side. So we'll machine this out once we've silver soldered that in so that this fits. It wants a couple of decent wood screws in here. Does anyone know where I can get some nice 8 gauge or something like that, round head brass wood screws? Who makes those sort of things? Anyone? Don't know. If you had a thought, if anyone's got any thoughts about it in Australia, I'd be keen. Bunnings have got nothing, really. Maybe the marine supplies. It's a good one, was. There's plenty of marine supplies around here. So, we're shopping Monday and Tuesday because a little bit of cash, but not a lot, but enough to get me out of the crap and to get some workshop supplies I needed. And some things for projects and things that I sort of hadn't really given a lot of concentrated thought to recently. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I've got this, right? Some of them may have seen this, right? This is Jeremy Schmidt's 2x72 grinder, right? And there's the drawings for it, which are awesome, really are. Some time ago, a few of us here in Brisbane got some laser cut parts for it. So I've got all the laser cut bits to put it together, and I've got most of the square tube and most of the solid and all those sort of things and all that. So it's a matter of practicing a bit of welding and how getting started on it. Hey Paul, just don't take the top one. Yeah, fair enough. So that's all the bolts and washers and so forth for that, and springs and things. So I went to the bolt shop and said, here's the list, what do we need? So there we go. That was one thing. Very cool. Getting a little bit closer, I'll put them in the box with the steel bits, and at some point we might start that when we get the bench tidy. Don't hold your breath. Finish this first. What else? Ultrasonic machines cacked itself. It's either got hot or it's run out of water or the transducer's failed or something like that. It wasn't a particularly good one anyway, so I'm guessing at some point I'm going to have to replace that sooner rather than later. Anyway, not happy about that. And there's not very much available, to be honest, but we'll find something. What else? I ordered this about, feels like 6 months ago. I'm sure it wasn't 6 months ago, but I ordered this about a few months ago anyway. It finally turned up from the local supplier here in Brisbane. It's ultrasonic. I'll get rid of the cardboard box. It's in a nice plastic box. I didn't even think to put batteries in there so we could have a talk about it. It's got a certificate of calibration, which is stamped Smart Sensor QC and lots of Chinese symbols. It's got a really sweet decorative border. China export. 27th of the 2nd, 21 this was made, so it's taken that long to get here. A serial number. Seems to be reasonably within calibration. Don't know, might not be. Yeah, the decorative border seems to be the high point of the certificate of calibration, but anyway. And it's got an instruction book, which is awesome. And it's got this, which seems to be a pretty half-decent sort of a thing, really. It's fairly nicely finished. It's got a tripod mount, just in case you need it. It's got decent connections here. These are basically click in and they're captive, and then pull them out by pulling the tube back. No weight in it. Takes 3 AA batteries, which I probably have. I haven't got a clue where though. There you go. That's less useful than it could be. Bill, you're right. As belt grinder designs, don't know where they were 5 years ago, but there's a couple of good ones out there now. So it's got ultrasonic, and it's got like a 4mm test billet for calibration. And you change the frequency, is that right? The sound bouncies to match the material you're working on. There's a chart in the back of the book, I think. I saw it. Yeah, here you go. So you for aluminum, 6,300. Acrylic resin is 2730. Water is 1480. Soluble glass is 2350. Phosphor bronze is 3530, etc. Turpentine is 4430. And so on. So basically you change it to match that. And a bit of ultrasound gel, which didn't come in the box. I was a bit disappointed about that. It says it's included, but it's not. Bit of ultrasound gel on that, and hold it on the surface, and it gives you a reading, which is very, very clever, and it seems to work. I did put some batteries in it at work, but they weren't my batteries, so I'll put them back. No, there's a hole for the batteries, but there's no actual batteries there. Who wants to wait while I go and find some batteries? Who's that interested? Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves. Some wise person once said, Stewie's stroking 100 and he's sick. Matt, look, g'day. Let's talk about that in a minute. It's surface finish affects it. So you really need to hit things with a grinder before you get in and really decide that this is what you're going to use it for. Wise person once said the batteries are in the last place that you'd look, and that was the case. I don't know if anyone knows this about AA batteries. I guess you all know this. This is pretty common knowledge, I thought, but maybe it's not. If you drop these on the flat end and they bounce, they're flat. Can you hear that? It's going bonk. If it just goes dong, like that one's okay. This is the one I pinched out of the mouse. which is not probably ideal. But if they bounce, they're no good. If they just go donk, they're okay. So put 3 batches in there. They set on 5690, which I don't know. I think that's 5900 is the... is that better? We can see the light now. I thought I had this just changing. Here we go. Apparently we press this and then we press it again till that flashes. There we go. And we can cycle through all these. We're looking for 5900, which is for steel. It's not there, is it? Probably completely mix this up. Okay, I'll answer the questions in a minute. There's some really reasonable questions about this because everyone's wondering about it. Too far. Okay. So a bit of ultrasonic. I'm just going to put a bit of spit on this because that'll probably do. We'll find a bit of steel. We might as well check this calibration anyway. I think everyone can see the screen there. There you go, 4.0 mil. How cool is that? How does that work? I don't know. Hey, Stephen. So there you go. So pretty useful thing, really. It's all right when you can get to the edge of something to measure it. Let's see how thick's this gear. 7.9. It's probably about what it is. How does it go against a gauge block? Really good question. I only haven't got a metric gauge box set. You can probably change it to imperial. I've got no idea how. We have a look in the book. I think it's only metric, but anyway. However, very, very useful thing if you're checking for boiler thickness or boiler shell thickness or pressure vessel thickness or hot water cylinder thickness or any sort of tank thickness where you can't get to the inside or rust in a pipe, stuff like that. So that's its primary use. See, because it's a different sound, on a different piece, it'll give us a completely different reading. See, that's giving me 7.2 millimeters there, and it's only 3.2, something like that. If we change it to the brass setting, it should be right. So, for steam engines and looking at old steam engines and things like that, it's probably quite a useful thing. Oh, we got a scammer. Can I delete that person? I can't. Someone can. If anyone wants to delete those two people, that would be very much appreciated. I don't know if there's anyone here's actual Blue Wrench though. Anyway. So for brass, according to the very useful Chinese, there's usually 2 or 3 of them, but no one's turned up today. If we look here for brass, 4640 we need. I'll just set that. Very easy to overrun by 100. So 4640. We set that up. It needs something between the tip and the... That's not even close to right. Well, it probably is actually. Because it's variable thickness there. Here's a bit of 3 mil. .1, 3.2, something like that, which is what we know it is. So at least some of the time, 3.1, at least some of the time this is accurate. verniers say 3.1. What do you make of that? So there you go. Anyway, probably a pretty useful tool, I hope. It won't hurt to have one if I'm at some point looking at maybe resume or taking over ownership of a pressure vessel, something like that. Don't know whether that's ever going to happen, but maybe one day it will, and it might be a useful thing to have. So there we go. Not a crazy expensive bit of gear, but probably useful. And probably if I bought one on eBay, I would have got one sooner, but this is from our local instrument guys, so I'd like to think it was sort of half decent. Don't store it with the batteries in it, very good. Can it measure pipe wall thickness? I believe so. Now there's a disclaimer or a formula or something for working that out. Curved surfaces, there was a thing about curved surfaces in here. It says, when the material is a curved surface like boiler wall or tubing, the curvature radius must be more than or equal to 10 millimetres. So there's going to be something at least 20 millimetres diameter, and the wall thickness must be more or equal to 3 millimetres. Apart from that, they don't really know. That's in steel. Otherwise, it says, as for the curved surface of other materials measuring requirements, we cannot provide exact data. We highly appreciate if you feedback us and share with us your precious experience. There we go. So no one really knows, but probably not. Tubing with thicker than 3 millimetre and a bigger radius than 10 millimetres, well then, yes, you can measure it. Otherwise, no one really knows. It's got a bit about roughness condition too. Says, however, if the roughness is too big due to the rust, etc., the error measure may happen. In such case, please try to minimize the roughness or select a 2.5 megahertz transducer. So if it's rusty, grind it or replace the transducer. Anyway, that's fair enough. Anyway, so hardness tester. I'm not going to store it with batteries in it because one of them's out of my mouse for a start. And I'm notoriously bad for leaving batteries in things for long periods of time. It's got 3 gaps for batteries for next time. There you go. So that was one thing that came today. That was a bit exciting, actually. I'm pleased to finally get that ordered a long time ago. Probably not a particularly good machine. I think you spend thousands of dollars on a good one. I'm not sure how much better they are. Someone might know. Anyway, that happened to my multimeter, but the thing is I've got a Fluke multimeter, so I could get bits for it. But if it hadn't been, it probably would have been a throwaway job. What else did I get? I went to Hare and Forbes because these are just necessity things that I need. Bought a couple of bandsaw blades. I guess everyone's interested in that. Starrett bimetal blades, 8 to 12, I think, TPI. Yeah. So the one that was in it was missing the teeth off one side because I cut something that was way too hard without realising. So it's good to have a new one. That's all flash. Boxer tips. Box of inserts. The jury's today about whether these are any good or not. I haven't really used them, but these are... Kyocera. This is the brand that Heron Forbes sell. They've actually got numbers and radiuses and things on them. And they're made in China, but they are actually labelled, and they're probably not too bad. I've used one so far. But a lot more expensive than out of China, but they might last longer. Mostly because you know exactly what you're getting. Thread pitch gauge. No, that's a pair of tweezers. Sorry. We've got a pair of X-Work tweezers, I think. Some engraving on them. Can we see that? Probably not. Probably. Hard stainless tweezers. These are about had it, actually. They're Regine, which are probably pretty good, but they're a bit short now to be much good for anything. It's a bit of a pity. So they're workshop tweezers now. This is just a standard thread pitch gauge. It's kind of okay. Don't know what you can really say about them. They're all kind of okay. This one's a broken drill. So also while I was there, because I needed a roll pin and I didn't know, well, I didn't go chasing them. I didn't really know what size I needed. I bought a set of metric roll pin assortment, so it wasn't particularly expensive. So I don't know how you open this box. Did I open it? Yeah, there we go. So big ones, little ones, all sorts of ones. So I got that, which I thought was kind of useful. Thanks, Adam. That's good feedback. Also got one of these because it was on sale and it kind of might have been useful. Which is a TIG torch holder with a magnet base. Thought that might have been a useful thing. Don't know, remains to be seen yet. But got one of them. Probably end up with grinder dust stuck all over it. So, for the first time in about 6 months... Oh, crap, that's a heavy magnet. First time in about 6 months, this is this is what I bought, sort of a live stream, because I haven't bought very much in the last little while. But it's kind of handy to have some of these things. What else? I need a new power board because I think I blew this one. I was working this cheapy power board too hard, I think, and it popped something out and it won't pop back in. So probably the contacts in the breakers fused together or something. It's got funny screws in it to undo it, so I haven't even tried to open it. Probably going to toss it. Probably going to cut the 3 metre lead off it and put a plug on the other end. Don't know. Anyway, that one's dead, so I've got a new HBM heavy duty one, so that's kind of nice, and I've got lights and things over at the lathe. Not enough power points in this place. If you build a factory, put more power points in. I don't know, I've got some sanding sponges, so I've got some stain. I don't know if that's really what I want or not, but I've got some black stain for this project, which I might need. I don't know if there's much else I really sort of got, but that was a day out anyway. It was nice to have a day just going and buying things. Hey, Matt, good to see you. Don't know what else. Don't know what else really, but that's the cool things that have happened. Haven't really made a lot of difference or even attempted to pull that clock mechanism down. I did pull it out of the clock. Pulled this out. I haven't it goes that way up. Poor thing. Anyway, I haven't pulled this down. These ones, Darren's still there. This one, probably. Oh, they're going to have a look at this. Let's have a look. This one, and same on the other side. I think it's this one, and probably not even, but there's no wear in that. They've already had bushes in them at some point in this long life, so I don't know if you can see that. My camera's not really focusing particularly well. I apologise for that. These have got bushes in them already, so they're a fairly straightforward job to bush because they're already on the right centres. Just got to knock them out and put new bushes in them. That's easy. This one here is crazy worn. As Darren pointed out, this has got a hole in the dial here where you can see the workings, and everyone oils them there, and brass on brass really doesn't want to be oiled too much. So we're yet to find out what we've actually got there. And this one here too is not particularly good. It's got a lot of wobble in that. So really they want fixing. I'm not sure if these bushes need redoing or not. Matter of pulling it out and polishing all these pivots and then seeing how much end shake and how much slop they got in them, and starting from there. But this needs a good clean up yet. No, I went to order a new bottle of L&R clock cleaner from the American one and took a hasty step back and decided that probably it could wait a week or so. No, bushes have been refurbished, I reckon. I don't think this clock was quite that fancy, to be honest. They were mass produced and they were basically just, I imagine that they were punched holes that were broached out, and if they got that. So L&R clock cleaning solution's expensive. There's a Zenith one, which is a little bit cheaper. I don't know if it's as good. It probably is. There used to be in Australia a Smith & Smith one that they made some smart bozo at Smith & Smith in Sydney years ago. Backwards engineered the formula and they were making the concentrate themselves, and that was fantastic stuff. That was better than the L&R one. But Smith & Smith have been shut down 10, 15 years, so that's not going to happen. Darren, I was going to ask, so please, yes, absolutely down for that. Absolutely down for that. Anyway, there we go. L&R's good stuff, and I know it's good stuff, or it used to be good stuff. I suppose it still is, but it's expensive. It's to a gallon of concentrate, which is pretty concentrated to the point that because of whatever's in it, you can't really take the lid off inside. It's that concentrate. A gallon of concentrate is nearly $200, which is probably enough to last me about 5 lifetimes. But if there's something else we could use that's good, that's what we'll use, because I'm not a big fan of ammonia on nice clocks, and I'm not a huge fan of ultrasonics on nice clocks. But yeah, if we could find it. Yeah, I'm just sort of thinking out loud now, but I really don't know. It's probably all right in this workshop, but in Darren's workshop, I imagine the L&R cleaner is probably sort of enough to send everyone home sick for the week. Have I talked about the thingamajig that we're building? No, not really. This is where I'm at. There's no video this weekend because these bits are taking a little bit longer than before. Got some brass. That's what I did on Monday, is went down to my mate Marcus is down on the coast, and he went to the scrappy and he found this beautiful bit of nice engraving brass that was this much longer, and I've chopped 2 bits off it already, which I relieved him of. So that's really nice stuff. There's enough there for a couple of clocks. Who's thinking that? Anyway, we'll put it aside somewhere. Oh, there's your... do we get that often? That's the first time I've ever seen that. Maybe my internet connection's just better. How thick is the engraving brass? It's crap. This is 3.2. We already measured a bit. 3.1 it is. It must have hit the big time if we're getting a spammer. There's no one here to delete it. Maybe Craig just gets rid of it, but Craig's busy doing stuff. So sorry about that. You'll have to put up with it. I might have to... Peter Noddle might be a blue wrench next time round. If you don't mind, Peter, as you're always here. It's the first time I've ever seen it. I can't change it. Or maybe I can. Hang on. I can. Hang on. Check this out. Maybe. Probably I can't. Don't know. Still trying. Don't know. Here we go. Let's, we can actually add someone as a moderator. How cool is that? I've never done this before. It didn't work that well. No. Takes a bit. Anyway. Press over the post so you can block it. Yeah, you probably can, but I'm struggling with that a bit. I can also report him. How cool is that? There we go. Hopefully that's that guy gone. Naked HD's gone anyway till he's back next time with something else. So, where were we with this thing? Right? You still don't know what it is. I know that. Well, some of you do. But I've made these collars. And I made these tops, which aren't finished yet. These are just roughed out, pretty rough. They still need a fair bit of work to come up to nice. I'm going to silver solder them together. Right? And then I'm going to put them in the 3-jaw chuck and I'm going to machine the middle out and clean the outside up. I'm probably going to etch some writing around this rim that's left here. We'll see how it goes. It might happen. And then they screw down on a block of wood and that gives us 2 sockets for... Basically, it's a socket that this sits in, if that's any help. So there's 2 of them. There's another one here as well, this socket. And another, basically another plate that we're sort of half finished. So there's a bit of work in those, a lot of hand work. But anyway, we'll get them. It's not an Antikythera device, no. What happened to your mod? Status, Peter, I can't get you back. I tried, but... There we go. There you go, Peter. Try that. Much appreciated. So, I might drop it here as sort of an Easter egg for all you guys that are listening here, because you're probably the only people who watch the video as well. But anyway, I'm going to come out and say it, right? In mill working with a rotary table, that's exactly right. I've got a mill and I've got a rotary table, but it seemed like a hard way to do it, so I'll just clean them up by hand. It won't take much. Does anyone want to know? Right, this is a harmonograph. There you go. Woohoo! I said it. Now I feel a heap better. I feel like the weight's lifted off my shoulders. It's a harmonograph. You might need to Google that. But anyway, I'll explain it in the video. That's all you're getting out of me. It's a kind of cool device. I think that might be useful. Well, it won't be useful for anything, but it might be fun. That's where we're at with it. So, it still doesn't know what it is. Harmonograph, yep. There's a lot of people who actually build and collect and create harmonographs. It's Mr. Squiggle Tool, yeah, that's right. There's quite a big community of, no, I'm not part of that, but it might be fun to make one. Maybe just as a fancy, like, lounge room amusement device. That's about where we're at with it, but it might be fun. Mess around with it. We'll see how we go. Paul's onto it. There you go. There's a very concise and awesome sort of absolutely concise, awesome sort of a definition. It's a 2 pendulum harmonograph. There you go. Because it doesn't sound any sillier when you say it out loud. But anyway, that's what it is. I don't think it'll be as much of a problem as I expected, actually. I was thinking it was going to be a bit of a challenge, tea and biscuits. I haven't looked at this and sort of messed around with the pendulums and got them working to a certain extent off camera. I'm sort of seeing that it's not going to be a huge deal. Yeah, similar thing. Matt, look, it's pretty close. I will announce it when I get some writing on these, but that'll be the next video. So this is the pen holder, and that's fairly easy to get balanced. I mean, that's really not a big deal to balance that. So if you've got something that balances out and you have a sliding weight or a little container to put some little weights in, you should be able to deposit enough force on there to hold the pen down without squashing the end of it or stopping it any, I think. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. And then this moves like this on, like backwards and forwards. So without some sort of a dampener or a weight on it, it's just going to do this, like when you move backwards and forwards, which isn't going to work. But if you drop a pen on it so that the pen's dragging a little bit, I think that'll work. Probably won't CNC it. There you go. So this screws in the pendulum, and then there's another top of the pendulum here with another weight on it that may or may not, I think probably changes the damping or something. I'm not sure what that does, but anyway, we'll have a mess with it when we get it going. So this is the top one, and then this one just pivots in one direction, which operates on there. With a couple of 100mm in between, and then there's a pendulum with a weight on it, and it sits in a cradle. And then the other one, which is this one, this gives us both ranges of motion, so that'll give us a circular moment of inertia, I guess. And the table screws on this piece here, which goes on top with a couple of clips to hold the paper. So basically that moves, and it moves like that. So there's got to be enough weight on the pen for it to describe an arc across there. And that moves like that. And then the pen, which is sort of like this, moves backwards and forwards as that goes around. So we'll see how that goes. Pretty much like that, Adam, yeah. Bill, I'm not baked enough to work that out, so I'll have to Google it later. So anyway, we'll make the bottom out of some nice timber. Probably by nice timber, we'll say pine or something like that, because I've got some. And I'll put some sockets so I can screw it down. A commercial one that was available like years ago that has sort of roughly modelled this off was actually like fold down portable in a box, so you could take it places, which is really nice. And I wanted to make it a little bit demountable, so I could put it in a box and put it away so it didn't get dusty when it gets in the way or when I get sick of it. So I'll make some screw-in legs, like some leg sockets to go in it in brass, and then we might turn some nice legs somewhere. And we'll get all that up and running, and then we can set all this up and see how it works. We can make a nice table for it, but cosmetically it'd be nice to have something that's pretty good anyway. Take care, Stuart. You get better soon. You won't, but it's a nice thing to say. You did well with strings and nails, because anyone I've ever spoken to who's done one of them thought it was a bit limited and they had trouble with it. So if you got one that actually worked, you did really well. And try and find some 8mm hydraulic tube for pendulums, I think. This is a nice straight bit 8mm or 6mm, which is a bit small. And the stainless steel, so that's probably make a nice pendulum. It's nice and straight and smooth. So all those bits are sort of coming together. The hard bit, which was working out how to make these sort of frictionless, this one and others, and I guess we've sort of accomplished something there. That one's a bit loose. I don't know how you go about adjusting them, but we've got little nylon bushes in there to stop these turning, stop them moving. And that's done. So it's this one and this one. They're the hard bits, probably. The bits that require the most work are these bits, and the rest is all basically a matter of getting in and doing something. So anyway, I'd like to see if anyone else wants to make one. I'd like to see what you come up with. I sort of want a focal piece coffee table style thing that can actually, it functions a little bit. I'm getting about, with just a toolmaker's clamp on the bottom of the pendulum on this unit set up, I'm getting about 40 seconds, something like that, of spin. I think we could probably improve that a little bit. See, the trouble is you give someone power and it goes to their head. That's the problem with it. I'm getting about 42 seconds, I think, from basically of pendulum motion, which is pretty good. And the more weight goes into that, probably the better, maybe. I'm not sure. There's all sorts of factors and variations. I think length probably is a big factor. And whether that's the only factor, and maybe it is, like with the clock pendulum, that's all that really matters. Weight doesn't make any difference. But not sure. So maybe length and weight and stuff. I try and get some fairly long legs so we can get a bit of weight. But moving the momentum of the weight up and down from the bottom to the top might give us a difference change too. So we make everything adjustable. Friction of the pen will be, if we've got a decent pen though, roll or tip, it shouldn't be a problem. Larger scale, I think, will be better. So I've made this. Pendulums are going to be about longer than that anyway. What's this? This one here is about, what's that, 750, something like that? Got no idea. Haven't even got a tape measure downstairs. Could probably measure it some other way. 200, 400, that's only about 650, something like that. I reckon that we're going to make the bench about 700 high, 800 high maybe. So it'd be nice to have the pendulum hang down probably 750, something like that. So it's just clearing the ground. And then the more you put out the top too, is the more movement you're going to get. So the bigger the sheet of paper you're going to have. Tea and biscuits, you're probably right. The length will change the speed, but it won't change. I'm not sure. I'm guessing lengths in feet and inches. That's 26 inches. There you go. Black and white measurement. Here you go. We'll talk. This is 26 inches, something like that. The thing will be about 800, which is 32 inches, 33 inches or something off the ground. So anyway, we'll go back to metric. Actually, with the probability of this working, I think we're probably better off in Sketch, to be honest. But anyway, that's a more accurate visual interpretation of what we're going to end up with. Anyway, I didn't even know how to do that until I was messing around with menus a minute ago. Anyway, that's what I'm building, and it's a pretty fun project actually. There's been some real challenges with it, but I'm really enjoying it. But it probably is a bit sketchy, and it may or may not work. There's still things I've got to source. I've got to find some hydraulic tube. I can probably get that sorted tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see what we'll ring around. NZ, I think, had it over in Nerang, which is 30 minutes away. They used to have it. That's where I used to live. There's a hydraulic place across the road here, like basically out the gate and over the road. and they don't have it, which is a bit of a nuisance. They don't have straight hydraulic tubes. They've only got flexible hoses. I think that's why they're called flexible solutions. Don't know. There's another one called Gateway Hydraulics or Kuma Hydraulics or something like that up in the Marine Precinct, and they may have it. I'll give them a call too, and if they have, I'll just go and pick it up Friday morning. Get them to cut it for me. But there you go. So that's the overview of projects, and as I've sort of stocked up, tried to get a bottle of gas for the TIG, which it hasn't happened, but it will. No one seemed very interested in getting any in. Wasn't going to take you 3 or 4 lengths, because these extension kits for Harley Speedsters, pedal extension kits that I've been doing, they use a fair bit of it. So, yeah. It's actually 7/16 though, because it's Harley. Bunnings do rent-free bottles. The problem is I don't have transport at the moment. They won't deliver it because it's a dangerous good. So I get someone to pick it up. It's probably going to happen. I don't know. I could go to Supergas and rent a bottle, which is cost effective. It's not as crazy as I was thinking it was going to be. So at some point we will. I might get a bottle, but it might be a month or so away yet even. We'll see how funds last. At the moment I've really got to concentrate on paying rent and stuff. Oh, wow. Okay, I haven't seen it. But yeah, please, anyone who wants to plug something in the chat, you should do it. Absolutely. I'm disappointed when you don't. Just go and check out Rustnox's soldering torch build too. That's a beautiful job. I really, really was impressed with that. Really enjoyed it. You should go and check that out. If you haven't watched that already, you should. It's a pretty nice little build. It came up really nice. He's given it away, which is huge, but don't you all jump on there and ask and leave a comment for giveaways, because I want that. Who else has got? There was a workshop update from Stephen Lang, which I haven't seen yet. I'll probably watch it tonight. I was sort of waiting because I downgraded my mobile phone plan when I sorted out the broadband, and then I was waiting for a modem. I was sort of waiting for a modem before we did too many YouTube dives. Anyway. I hope you win it. Anyone who wins it, don't send it to me. Hang on to it, enjoy it. Anyway, apart from that, what else is happening? I've got to start another sign. I've set up my spark plug display cabinet upstairs for the first time in about 4 years. They were all in a big polystyrene box wrapped up in bubble wrap. And I pulled it out and pulled them out and set up the display cabinet on top of the bookcase up there in the library. And I've sort of making a sign to go around it. So that's a work in progress, but not much to see. Take care, Bill. So that's as far as I've got with that. Not that exciting, but it goes around the corner of the box and we'll put an arrow or something on it. So more of that probably next week. I've got some nice heat treat silver leaf, like a variegated random pattern leaf. I don't know if I've got enough to do the letters that say spark plugs or not, but it's a really nice, it's a copper and heat treat blue sort of a variegated pattern. It's a really nice leaf I got for a job ages ago, and there's probably 3 or 4 sheets in there, but I'm reluctant to do it in case there's only, I need 5 or 6, so I'm still thinking about that. Anyway, the trouble is with any of these videos, and sign painting in particular, and engraving or clock repairs or anything else, is that if you do a video about them, there's probably someone who actually knows what they're doing, and they tend to make you look a bit stupid if they say anything. So I try not to put myself in that position too much, because I don't know much. Anyway, we've dribbled probably for long enough. This is an hour and 12 minutes, and everyone's dropping off. Bill's not managed to get through, and yeah, I'm not an expert on any of this crap, but the company I keep sort of gives me pretty good insight into how things work. Thanks, guys. Audio stopped. Now, I don't know if the thing is, the other thing that I was going to say, and I've been going to say all live stream, is that I now have NBN broadband, which is the National Broadband Network, which is landline. So anyway, hopefully it was a lot better than it has been. If you can't tell the difference, well, I'm disappointed, but it's certainly a lot more responsive on this end. Anyway, I'm out, I think. Take care, everyone. See you next week. Really enjoyed the internet content that I've seen. Anyone who's got a video, totally jump up and down and plug it on here, absolutely, because you've only got to click on someone's name to find it. Anyway, take care. Be kind to each other, and especially to me. And we'll catch you next time. I'm out.